Love is a powerful, intimate emotion that most people aspire to feel and express. Yet, in early stages of new relationships, saying I love you can be a daunting moment. For many, this phrase is loaded with vulnerability, the fear of rejection, and weight of potential expectations. This project explores why this hesitation exists and what it reveals about our emotional needs and fears.
I love you. I never wish to be parted from you from this day on.
Love you, Molly. I've always loved you.
I would say if you feel it and it takes over, then you just say it. You know, better to love, what is the saying? Better to
Have loved and
love
lost
than to
never
never
to
loved
love.
at all. And if you truly love somebody, you should express your feelings and let them know and take that next step in your relationship.
I would say that my advice to that person is that the way to really understand love, that you love each other, is through intimate communication, right? So you have to be willing to put yourself out there a little bit. But if you put yourself out there, then they're going to put themselves out there as well, because everybody's going to develop a level of trust. And once you develop that level of trust, then you can have that conversation. Then you can speak freely about how you feel and how your emotions, and you're not worried about getting rejected or getting, getting turned down or whatever. So communicate with that person and put yourself out there with a little bit of trust. And if you have that level of trust, they have that level of trust, then you're going to be able to have those kind of conversations.
Saying I love you opens up a person to vulnerability, a feeling of exposure that many may find intimidating. Expressing love can feel like handing someone your heart, making rejection all the more painful if the sentiment is unreciprocated. Past experiences and trauma can add to this fear, creating an emotional hesitation in new relationships.
I remember the first time that I said I love you, I was at a payphone or outside of the gym that I work out at. And I was just missing her, wanting to be with her. She was in Maryland, I was in Virginia, and we were just talking, and I said, I think I love you. And unfortunately, I think at the time she didn't say anything back. Maybe she questioned whether are you sure? But that was definitely the first time I said it, and it took a lot for me to get up the gumption to say those words to her, because it was a very significant time.
So I remember getting the phone call. I was living with my parents, so I was in the kitchen, and I got the phone call, and we were talking, and he said that, and my parents were in the room. We were just cleaning up from dinner, and so I didn't know what to say in response. But I remember feeling like, wow, we have climbed this hill. Like it just was so incredible that he said that, and I felt like, wow, he loves me and I love him, and we're into the next phase of our relationship. It was so great.
The time that we were falling in love, I don't think vulnerability played a role, because we felt pretty secure in who we were and what our family's expectations were for us in selecting a mate, or in making a commitment, a serious commitment to another person.
I agree.
I think there are many things that can trigger vulnerability or fear in a new relationship. I think saying I love you is one of those things that we have societally made this huge milestone. And particularly in our culture where we tend to be a little bit emotionally rigid, we don't tend to say I love you.
In addition to fear, uncertainty about timing creates more anxiety. Many wonder, is it too soon? Too late? They worry that saying it too early could overwhelm their partner or make them appear too eager, while waiting too long may risk appearing distant or unsure.
Mitchell Hall, and I've been dating Brooke LaGiorgio for 7 months, and I first said I love you within the first week of dating.
I've been dating my girlfriend Grace for 6 months, and we each said I love you after 3 months into our relationship.
I've been dating my girlfriend Sada for 3 months, and we first each said I love you 2 weeks into our relationship.
I've been dating my girlfriend Maddie for 7 months, and we said I love you 2 months into our relationship.
My name is Luke. I've been dating my girlfriend for 9 months, and we said I love you into a month into dating.
I'm dating my girlfriend Ava for almost 7 months, and we said I love you a month and a half in.
I've been dating my girlfriend Jordan for 2.5 years, and we said I love you after 1 month.
For many, past heartbreak or unreciprocated love creates a barrier to saying I love you. Trauma from previous relationships can make vulnerability feel risky, leading people to hold back to protect themselves from reliving pain. Each unspoken I love you becomes a form of emotional self-defense as they try to avoid the hurt of potential rejection.
This is a big one. There's so much to say here. I think one of my favorite sentences ever to be written about trauma is by David Morris, and he says that trauma is a truth that tells you a lie, that peace and love are an illusion. And I think that the way that trauma is a truth is that these traumatic things happen to us and we experience the rupture. Those things are very true. You can't unexperience a trauma, and you can't go back to the world before you had the traumatic event. So you learn these lessons of fear that get pretty hardwired into your system. And then, so that's the truth. The trick of trauma is that the answer to the traumatic event is to protect yourself by never doing it again. So this is so common, especially with first heartbreak. I will never love again. I will never make myself vulnerable in that way again. And that both completely makes sense and is the absolute wrong thing, right? Like, trauma is a truth that tells you a lie. It's a trick. It's trying to trick you into thinking that you can protect yourself from love or heartbreak, which you can't, right? We experience heartbreak in a lot of different ways. And so I think that it can affect your ability to express what you're feeling. It can also affect your ability to feel what you're feeling. And so sometimes people will engage in what they experience as very disorganized behavior, where they have this sort of like, I love you, get away, sort of push-pull. They will go head first into a new relationship and then sabotage it because of the trauma. I think one of the trickiest things about trauma is that often it motivates our behavior in ways that are really sort of like subterranean. They're underneath our consciousness. And so we don't always know why we're doing what we're doing. But if you have a pattern of sabotaging relationships, then that might be a sign that there's some trauma in a new relationship. I think that one of the hardest things we do as human beings is open ourselves up to each other in love. It's the scariest thing we do. But we don't talk about that. We make it like it's this huge, romantic, amazing thing, and we don't talk about why it's scary. So when you're feeling that fear, there's not a lot of safe places you can go to express that and then get help through it.
Our society and media have set expectations around love and relationships, often influencing how and when people express love. Cultural norms, gender roles, and media portrayals create a framework that can affect timing and the meaning behind saying, I love you.
Can I talk to you about something?
About when you want to give me more of your money?
No.
Did you want to do that now? We can go inside. I'm feeling kind of good tonight.
I was just, I'm in love with you.
What?
I'm really sorry if that's weird for you to hear, but I need you to hear it.
And why not?
Because I'm in love with Monica.
You're what?
Love her. That's right. I love her. I love her.
I love you, Monica.
I love you too, Chandler.
I think young people are much more cautious today to say, I love you, because of all the social opportunities to meet new people and so forth that exist today. Plus the fact that we have such a litigious world today that before you talk about a commitment, you better be sure that your heart is in the right place when you do something like that.
While saying I love you can be challenging, understanding the underlying fears and social pressures can help. This phrase can become less about vulnerability and more about creating a meaningful connection. Recognizing these barriers may encourage more open, honest expressions of love and fostering stronger relationships.
My only advice is you need to make sure that your head and your heart are in sync. And it's a serious commitment when you say that today.
Like that, when you're dealing with something that's really scary, instead of going sort of full force into it and triggering your whole nervous system, the better way is to sort of step into it and then step out. Put your toe in the water and then take it out, and then put your, legs up to your knee in the water and then get out, and you kind of like adjust to that. So I think if someone is really afraid of expressing love, what are some ways they can do it that feels safer, right? So you can do things for someone, right? We communicate in so many ways beyond just verbal speech. What are some things that are loving that you can do and then feel into that expression?